Have you ever been haunted by the thought of what happens after we die? That deep, unsettling fear that we might just become nothing. Many of us go through life believing that our entire existence is a short-line segment, starting at birth and ending abruptly at death. We think we come from a void and return to a void. This fear of annihilation, of ceasing to be, can cast a long shadow over our lives. But what if this entire premise is wrong? The Buddha offered a perspective that can completely transform how we see life and death. He taught that birth and death aren't ultimate truths, but rather, they are powerful ideas that we cling to. It's our firm belief in these concepts that creates an illusion of separation, and this illusion is the real source of our suffering. Imagine this: no birth, no death, no coming, no going, no being the same, no being different, no fixed, unchanging self, and no final extinction. According to the Buddha, these are the realities. We just think the opposites exist. When we can truly, deeply see that we cannot be destroyed, that fear we carry simply dissolves. This realization doesn't just bring peace. It unlocks a profound sense of joy and allows us to live our lives more fully and without reservation. This understanding is also a powerful source of comfort when we lose someone we love. The conditions that support a person's life are no longer present, they withdraw from our sight. But if we learn to look deeply, we can see that their true nature is the nature of no birth and no death. What we perceive as an end is merely a disappearance, not a vanishing act into oblivion. It's a transition, a promise to manifest again in new forms. Of course, seeing these new manifestations isn't easy. It requires mindfulness, presence, and the willingness to look beyond the surface, but it is possible. It's like learning a new language. With practice and guidance, you start to see the connections. Imagine taking the hand of someone who understands this, walking together in quiet meditation. Look closely at the leaves on a tree, the vibrant colors of a flower, the flight of a bird, or the tiny drops of morning dew. When you pause and truly look, you might just recognize your beloved one manifesting again and again in the incredible beauty all around you. In that moment of recognition, joy returns. Interestingly, this isn't just a spiritual idea. The famous French scientist Antoine Lavoisier once stated, "Nothing is created, nothing is lost. Everything is transformed." He was speaking as a scientist, observing the laws of nature. Yet he arrived at a truth that echoes the Buddha's realization thousands of years earlier. Our true nature is the nature of no birth and no death. It's a continuous transformation. When we touch this truth, when we feel it in our bones, the fear of non-being loses its power over us. It's like waking up from a long, anxious dream. The Buddha explained it with a simple analogy. When the right conditions come together, something manifests, and we say it exists. When those conditions change or fall apart, it no longer appears in the same way, and we say it no longer exists. But this is a fundamental misunderstanding. To label something as either existing or not existing is simply not accurate. Think about it this way. Imagine you're in a room with no television or radio. You might think there are no TV shows or music in that room, but we know that's not true, right? The air is filled with broadcast signals, radio waves, television signals, Wi-Fi. They are there, constantly passing through the room. They just aren't manifesting because the right conditions of television or a radio aren't present. Now bring a TV into the room and turn it on. Suddenly, pictures, colors, and sounds appear. It would be completely wrong to say that the program didn't exist before you turned on the TV. The signals were always there, just waiting for the right conditions to become visible and audible. Our ideas of being and non-being are just like that. They are flawed concepts that confuse us. They make us believe in a rigid kind of existence or non-existence that isn't real. Concepts like being and non-being, or even above and below, are just relative points of reference. What is above me right now is below for someone on the other side of the planet. These terms are entirely dependent on our perspective. They are not absolute truths. Reality, in its pure form, is free from all these concepts. It can't be captured by our limited ideas or labels. It's like trying to catch the wind in a net. So what does this mean for our own suffering, for our own fear? It means we can change our relationship with it. Instead of trying to run away from suffering, what if we just allowed it to be there? What if we faced our fear without panic, without resistance, and just observed it? When we do this, something incredible shifts. The suffering might still be present, but it's no longer at the center of our universe. It moves to the periphery. And in the center, where the suffering used to be, you discover a profound stillness. You become the calm observer, the awareness watching the storm pass. In that space of pure awareness, a subtle and resilient joy begins to arise. Why? Because you've touched a deeper truth about who you are. You are not your suffering. You are not your fear. You are not defined by your end. You are the spacious, timeless awareness in which all things, thoughts, feelings, experiences come and go. You are life itself, a continuous flow of fears and completely transform how we see ourselves and the very nature of life. It's the teaching that there is no birth and no death, that our deeply held ideas of a beginning and an end are, in fact, illusions. It's the understanding that you, in your essence, are not your end. For so many of us, there's a quiet, persistent fear that lingers in the background of our lives. The fear that when we die, we simply cease to exist. We worry that our entire existence is just a brief flash in the dark, starting with birth and ending abruptly with death, after which there is only nothingness. This fear of annihilation, of being erased, can haunt us. It shapes how we live, how we love, and how we suffer. But what if this fundamental fear is built on a misunderstanding? What if birth and death are not the absolute final bookends of our existence that we take them to be? The Buddha taught that these concepts, birth, death, coming into being, going out of being, are mental labels. They are ideas that our minds create and impose upon a much deeper, more fluid reality. These labels create the illusion of separation and permanence in a world where, in truth, there is neither. Let's delve a little deeper into this illusion of being and non-being. We tend to think in very black and white terms. Something either exists or it doesn't. You are here or you are not. But reality is far more subtle and interconnected than that. Imagine a room without a television. If someone asked you if there were any TV programs in that room, you'd probably say, "No, of course not. But are you sure?" The television signals, radio waves carrying images and sounds, are actually filling that room, passing through the walls, through you right now. They are unseen, unheard, just waiting for the right conditions to be received. Now let's bring a television into that room and turn it on. Suddenly, pictures and sounds manifest. A news report, a movie, a concert, it all appears on the screen. Did these programs come from nowhere? Did they suddenly spring into existence from nothingness? No, they were always there in potential, as invisible signals in the air. The television simply provided the right conditions for them to manifest, to become perceptible. When we turn the TV off, the images and sounds disappear. But do the signals vanish into nothing? Of course not. They are still there, ready to be received again. This is a simple way to understand the essence of no birth and no death. Things arise and things pass away, but they don't truly come from a state of absolute nothingness, nor do they vanish into it. Life is a continuous, dynamic process of manifestation. When the right conditions gather, a form appears, a story unfolds. A seed becomes a flower, a cloud becomes rain. When those conditions change, the forms dissolve. The flower wilts, the rain evaporates. But the energy and the essence behind them do not simply disappear, they transform. The flower returns to the soil, nourishing new life. The water vapor rises to form new clouds. This is what the Buddha called dependent origination, or inner being. It means that everything arises in dependence upon other things. Nothing exists independently or permanently. Everything is connected in a vast, intricate web of causes and conditions. The flower cannot exist without the sun, the soil, the rain, and the seed. You cannot exist without your parents, your ancestors, the food you eat, and the air you breathe. We are all manifestations of countless intersecting conditions. Understanding this is the key that unlocks the prison of fear. When we realize that we are not a separate, solid self that is born at one moment and dies at another, the fear of annihilation begins to lose its grip. If you can take this truth deep into your heart, you will start to see that your true self is not limited by the concepts of birth and death. You are not just your body, which is constantly changing, cell by cell. You are not just your thoughts, which arise and pass away like clouds in the sky. You are not even your suffering, which is a temporary condition. Your true nature is the spacious, silent awareness in which all of these experiences sights. Sounds, thoughts, feelings arise and pass away. You are the consciousness behind all the change. When you recognize this, the fear of non-being dissolves because you see it for the illusion it is. You see with clarity, you are not your end. You are life itself, a continuous unfolding process without a true beginning and without a true end. This realization brings an incredible sense of peace, freedom, and even joy. Why? Because it reconnects you to something infinite and timeless within yourself and in the world around you. You are no longer a fragile, isolated entity fighting against the inevitable. You are part of the grand cosmic dance of existence. When you learn to see deeply in this way, you can recognize this one life manifesting again and again in countless forms. You see it in the resilience of the trees, the beauty of the flowers, the gentle persistence of the wind. You see it in the eyes of the people you love, recognizing that their essence and yours is part of this same eternal flow. So the next time you feel that old fear creeping in, the fear of endings, of loss, of the great unknown, take a moment. Breathe. Remember this teaching. There is no birth and there is no death. There is only the continuous, beautiful flow of life, forever changing, forever present. You are not confined by time or form. You are the ever-present, boundless life that shines through all things. Thank you so much for joining me and exploring this deep idea today. I hope this understanding brings you a measure of peace and freedom in your own life. If you found this helpful, please consider liking this video and subscribing to the channel for more content like this. Take care and be well.